Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
First we saw about just a little bit about Workday HCM. Just going to be giving you a little bit of more glimpse about Workday HCM. Workday HCM has been an inception. For the last 18 years, from 2006-2007 onwards, it's been an inception. And the owners or the founders of Workday also happen to be the founders of PeopleSoft. The first of you who are from PeopleSoft background can also remember that it is actually, I would say, a product brainchild of the product owners of PeopleSoft themselves. You will see a lot of similarities with PeopleSoft. That is number one. And it's been a rapidly growing platform. Many clients across the globe, be it small, mid or big size clients. I can even name a lot of them, be it Facebook, that is Meta, Google Next, and you can have AT&Ts. Many different organizations have adopted to Workday over the last several years. Alright. And it is being rapidly adopted by many countries, many organizations across the world because it's quick, fast, and easy to deliver and implement and support as well. These are kind of the advantages of Workday. Next, this is what we are going to be seeing in this particular course that we have. First up, we're going to be having approximately 30 to 35 hours of learning. That is number one. And we'll be having some real-time projects which is going to be similar to a live environment. And you may have some 24/7 support. I think you would have already got the details of the support team. And I may have some mock interviews and also some assistance to your placement. And it's not going to be a resume of everything, but just that we may have some mock stuff. I may be helping you out with what could possibly be asked in the interviews. That's what we are going to be dealing with in this particular course. But what I'll be covering, the most important part, is what is it that you can expect in Workday, or how exactly can you use Workday at work. That is going to be the premise and the crux of these 30 to 35 hours of learning that you're going to get. Alright, who should ideally be learning Workday HCM? Folks who have already been on the HR platform. Those have already used Workday or other HR, T or HCM tools in the past, like SuccessFactors, PeopleSoft, Oracle, and also those who are currently working as end users in HCM, which is going to be like people who are in the talent acquisition space, who are in benefits related stuff, payroll module vendors. Because everybody or those who would like to jump into an HCM or a Workday-based career in the future, this is definitely going to be helpful for all of this. And anybody who has interest, definitely they are welcome as well. Alright, the next one. We've already seen about at a high level about the content. I'll just give you about the modules which we have in Workday. And I will just give you one small input also. And because this is going to be a jargon which we are going to be using all across Workday as such, we saw about end-to-end, which means all the way from hiring till termination. This is what is going to constitute HCM seat. What do you mean by? I'm just going to introduce a topic called as modules. Alright. What exactly do you mean by modules is, functionally, we are going to divide the entire ecosystem of Workday into many different modules. which means a person, if I just go through the architecture or the workflow of an employee. First, he is going to get hired. That hiring, we call it as recruiting module. Next, we go across to an employee who is going to be within the organization. He is going to have many different activities that he is going to perform on a day-to-day basis. There could be some changes in the personal information. He could be going across for any kind of skill development. He could go for any kind of promotions, payrolls, everything. We divide all of this into different entities called as functional modules. We may have different modules like number 1, as I said, recruiting. The next one is going to be called as Core HCM. Core HCM is the heart of any Workday HCM functional ecosystem. Because it is going to be the module which is going to be used day to day in the entire employee's life cycle, which means once he is joined the organization, he could have a change in the employee's personal information. He could be terminated for whatever reasons. He could have many other different day-to-day transactions. All of this comes within what is called as Core HCM. Because he could be transferred. He could have a change in the supervisory organization. He could go to another location. He could be deputed in other locations, say in US or anywhere. All of this is part of Core HCM module. First module, what we saw was recruiting. Second is Core HCM. The third module that we have is called as benefits. What exactly does benefits mean? When an employee is going to have medical benefits, dental benefits, vision benefits, or any retirement benefits, or any other benefits, accidental coverage, death benefits, all of these come under what is called as benefits. This is the high-level crux of the benefits module. Next, payroll. I don't think people need an introduction or details about it. Any kind of pay that you're going to get on a monthly basis, or it could be like by weekly basis or whatever is going to be. The pay cycle of an employee constitutes the payroll module. Next, time and leave module or time and leave. Time and absence as it is called in Workday ecosystem. First is time. Time is nothing but the time that you are going to log into an organization. For example, if you've been requested to work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., you may have to log in at 9 a.m. in the morning and you have to log off at 5 p.m. What happens if you log in early? Or what happens if you are going to work more than the 8 hours? You may have to be paid overtime. And that could also be something like if you are going to be working on a Sunday or if you're going to work on a public holiday, you may have to be paid an additional amount of money for all of this. All of this comes in what is called as time. And next, absence again. You may want to take some leaves, which could be personal leaves, casual leaves, sick leaves, any of them. All of this comes in absence. But in Workday, time as well as absence is considered as a single module. It's considered as a single module. First, we saw recruiting. Then we saw Core HCM. We saw benefit. We saw payroll. And now we've seen time and absence. These are the important modules that we have in Workday HCM. See, payroll is nothing but. See, for example, if you have to be paid a certain sum of amount on every 31st. Today happens to be the 31st of the month. Most of the folks will be getting their paychecks on this particular day. What happens in the background for processing your payroll? You may have some deductions, tax deductions, or any other statutory deductions as a part of payroll. And your earnings could be like, if you're in India, your basic could be this much. Your other related allowances, etc. could be something else. Whereas if you are in US, you will have only what is called as a fixed annual or monthly sum which needs to be paid. What happens in the background to process your payroll? What is your earning components? What are your deduction components? And apart from that, do you want to have it as a physical check delivered to you? Or do you want it to be transferred electronically to your bank account directly? All of these operations constitute a payroll module. And the last other jargon that I just want to introduce is called as touch points. This is something which you need to understand all across. Because what exactly do you mean by touch points between different modules? Alright, let me give you a simple example like what I said about absences. Say you're going to apply for, say, 3 days of casual leave, but you have only 2 days of balance left in your kitty. What will happen ideally is 2 days of casual leave will be deducted from your balance. And that 1 day of additional casual leave that you're applying for will go as unpaid leave. Clear on this? Say I have only 2 days of balance, but I'm still applying for 3 days of balance. 2 days will go from my kitty and 1 day will go from my as unpaid leave, for which I will be deducted my pay for the day. What happens after this is you're going to apply this in the absence module. From the absence, this needs to flow across to my payroll. That payroll can deduct 1 day of absence or 1 day of pay from my next paycheck. This particular integration between absence and payroll module is what is called as touch points. And it's not that it's only restricted between payroll and absence. It could be with every single module. Give you just Workday. Functional modules talk to each other for many different operations. What I've explained is very simple. For example, in benefits you may opt for a medical insurance benefit for your spouse and your dependent parents. You may have to be deducted some premium periodically from your paychecks. From benefits, it will go across to payroll. Alright, that is another example for this. And you may refer somebody in the organization. You may get a referral bonus. Suppose the person has joined the organization and may be eligible for a referral bonus of say 1000. That needs to be also be paid in the next paycheck of RN. From recruiting to payroll, we have another touch point. This is the jargon which you need to definitely understand. Please make a note of that. If you are preparing notes, touch point is nothing but between different modules. What is the integration that is going to happen? That's what is called as touch point. We've seen about functional modules. The next thing that we are going to be seeing is called as integration. This is another jargon which you may want to understand in the Workday ecosystem. Alright, what exactly do you mean by integration? Let's go to the next one. About what is HCM and all those things we've already seen. What is Workday? What is SIM? And what are the different main concepts and basic navigation? This is what we call it as Workday Tenent, which means this is your Workday page where everybody, be it an implementer is the person who is going to be configuring all of this. Is an implementer or an end user, like some of the folks who are from an end user perspective, like a recruiter, payroll managers, or HR support operations people. All of this will have this. All of them will have the same screen visible every time you log in. That's number one. Number two, what is a SaaS-based platform? One advantage to a SaaS-based platform is you are going to get the same flavor which means there are many options over here, menus over here, modules over here. Everybody is going to be getting the same list of modules wherever you are on the globe. It's not like one person is going to get a different flavor of this. HCM Suite. If you're in US or if you're going to be in Australia, it is going to be the same across the globe for everybody across. That's what we call it a SaaS. That is number one. And coming on to advantage of this is, all I need is a simple browser to access my Workday page. All I need is a browser, which means I can virtually access this on my desktop and also from my mobile. I can access Workday from either my desktop or my mobile. It's easy to access. And you may ask me whether do we have any iOS or Play Store apps. Currently, we do not have any apps to access Workday. You will need a browser to access the Workday ecosystem. I will give you a small things about what are there on the right side. This is what we call it as notifications. Next we have inbox. Next we have your own profile. Now I'm logged in as Carolee that you see over here as well. And here also you see Carolee. And then right next to it is the employee ID. And if I want to view the person's profile, I can view the profile. This screen is very much similar to what you might see in any of the other systems as well. It is kind of the same only. There is no difference with that. It is kind of the same. First up, home. If I click on home, it was anyway going to navigate me to this particular page only. If I've got stuck in other place and I want to come back over here, all that I need to do is go over here to my profile and then click on home. My account. If I have some details or some changes that I want to make to my profile pages or preferences, password related changes, all of those will come in my account. Workbench. If I have some kind of a process related setups and everything that is in Workbench, we will see that in more details during the next sessions. Favorites is going to be something like a bookmark that you might see. For example, a recruiter who is going to log in may have the recruiting related pages set up as the favorite pages for him. Alright, let's leave audit for that. That's going to be a little bit high level in the security side of things. I'm now going to cover only the basic stuff, but I promise you that I'll come to all of these in detail a little later. Alright, next. Workday has a personal drive, just like how you have your Google Drive, where you can save your personal documents. Alright, you can save your personal documents and you can share it with other workers as well or in other processes as well. That is the purpose of Drive. My reports is nothing but any of the reports which are configured for me specifically. As a recruiter, I may want to see who are the people who have been hired in the organization based on a criteria. This is what is called as reports. A CEO of the organization may want to see several dashboards on the organization performance. That is all available over here. This is the right side of this particular screen that we have in the extreme right. Next, what we have over here is number 1, notifications. Number 2, inbox. This is where you need to understand a subtle difference between the two. Let me just explain you when you will get an inbox item and when you will get a notification. For example, a person is going to go on a long-term leave. Probably person is going on a maternity leave, say for 6 months. Definitely, the manager has to approve this. Plus, once it has been approved, the HR person has to be notified, which means it is an approval for the manager and a notification for the HR. Now I just want you to tie this up to two things that we have. If I have an actionable item where it says XYZ has approved for a leave and Arian has to approve this, it will come up as an inbox item for me, which is an FUIA, which means I need to action on it for some actionable approve, review or anything. I need to approve it. Without that, it is not going to be approved in the system or it's not going to go forward. That's what is called as inbox item. Whereas notification is nothing. But if I'm going to be having a notification as an FUI item, like I said, say a person is going to go on a long-term maternity leave, the manager has approved it. Now this needs to be informed to the HR that he can take some relevant action. That is what we call it as notification. Clear on the difference between notification and inbox item. If there is an actionable for me where I need to approve something, I will have an inbox item. Whereas as an HR, I've been notified that this particular person is going on a leave. There is no further action from my side. It is only for a notification or a record keeping purpose. Then I will have it as notifications. Now let's go to the next thing on the left side. Over here I go to menu. Here in menu, I see a lot of options over here. And what I would want you to do is, once you get the tenant access, go through all of these and try to find out what each one of these are. Some of them are self-explanatory, like personal information timesheets. All of these are self-explanatory. Personal information is going to contain a person's personal information, whatever he saved the contact information. If you see here, I have two options. Once I came to personal information, I have two things over here. One is change. Another is view. The first option, it says view about me. What are my details? My address, email address, address changes. Everything is going to be available. These are more self-explanatory for you. This is just a starting point for you. Don't think that this is something I'm teaching anything high level, but this is just a very starting level. And I would definitely want you to understand this. That's why I'm asking you to go through this a little bit more, that you can ask me more questions and I can give you a lot more information as well. You see here you have view about me address. What is my current address? Email address. The system does have the capability to maintain both personal as well as official email addresses. Address changes. The history of any address changes that I have made. My name information. Phone numbers. Any worker documents. Worker documents could be any documents which the organization is going to mandate. Something like contract details or other stuff as well. And the left side pane is going to contain like change, which means if I want to change my contact information, emergency contacts, photo, legal name, preferred name, birth date, business title, everything else. But today, what I would rather want you to do is after the class. An activity for all of you is, please go through this personal information. It's very simple. All that you are going to do is only view. Please do not go to change. At this moment change, we will take it in the further classes. But in view, I want you to go through all of these and find out what is actually happening over there. It's very simple. You are only going to view your own profile details, only nothing else. Alright, let's just go about with this and see what happens in About Me. I've clicked on About Me over here. What it takes me to Carol Lee's profile. Alright. In Carol Lee's profile, you will see the supervisory organization that Carol Lee is working, the manager, which company the person is working with, the employee ID, education details, skills, job history, which means prior to this organization where all this particular person has worked. Alright. Statement. Not much of details are available for this person from person to person. It could vary. Alright. Next job details the current job where this particular person is working for location. All of these details. I will deal all of these fields as well. A little detail in the further sessions as well. This particular person has been working here for the last 23 years, 7 months, 29 days, it says it. And contact information. And if you see here, it shows public, which means this information is available with everybody in the organization. It is not going to be restricted to just a certain people. It is available for everybody to view. Work address. All of this is available over here. And if you see other information, for Carol Lee, we have several other tabs as well. First one we saw about summary. Next is the performance, which means performance is nothing but your appraisal. Year-end appraisal. If there are any year-end appraisal feedbacks which is received, it will be available here. Your career path, your training interest, other job applications. All of that is going to be available over here. Next, feedback. If you have received any feedback from somebody, your manager, peers, that is going to be available in the feedback session. Your current job details. The organization that you are working, how long you have worked, your other details are also available here. And here I want you to look at this particular one, which is called as worker history. This is going to be a very, very vast one, which means what worker history is going to contain is right from the start. This particular person currently has been in the organization for the last 29 years. What all has happened in this particular person's lifetime for the last 29 years is all available here. Everything is available over here. If an HR admin wants to view the entire career history of Carol Lee, all that I need to do is go to this particular person's profile and then come over to job. And then all that I need to do is view worker history. Everything is going to be available. You may want to go through this as well, and just to understand more details about how Workday is built. Alright, next overview. It is just a summary of the employee's profile and other details. Contact information. If there is any contact information, emergency details, everything is available over here. Personal information is going to be the employee's personal details, date of birth, marital status, gender, etc. If the person has provided some IDs, you can use that. Compensation is going to be the employee's compensation. What is going to be the pay? If it is going to be X dollars a year, it is going to say X dollars a year. Whatever was there in your latest hike letter or your offer letter, whichever is applicable. Benefit. Like what we saw earlier about all the benefits, information of self plus dependents. All those details and the history is going to be available. A pay is going to be my paycheck and other details. Pretty much all the modules that we have discussed over here or discussed today is going to be available over here in just this particular page. Pretty much clear on this. What I want you to do is please go through all of this information. I do not want you to do any operation, but I just want you guys to familiarize with how Workday is going to look like. If you see here, Karen Lee, the supervisory organization is given as Technology Consulting NA, which means this is the organization where this particular person is working. We will deep dive into this topic a little later on the next session. If I go in over here, Technology Consulting NA, I will see all of the peers of Karen Lee. Karen Lee is one of the members. If I see, I clicked on Technology Consulting NA and it took me over here, which is the supervisory organization details. What I want you to do is also go through all of these. Members is going to be nothing but the people who are working in the same supervisory organization. Karen Lee is one of them, and she has Amit Patel, Jocelyn, and Joe as her peers in the organization. And the other details about the supervisory organization. We will deal with it in detail in the next session. Please do not jump the gun. I just want to only show you the supervisory organization and nothing else. And one topic I just want to explain over here is, you see, here you have 3 dots over here. Alright, this is a common button which is available in all of Workday ecosystem. It will be available for almost every single item that you see. This is what we call it as related actions. We call it as related actions. One more thing, what I want you to do is go to this particular supervisory organization, click on related actions, and just view the organization chart. And I think some of you was also saying that today, earlier when we had the introduction section, some of you had dealt with the charts and the organization charts. This is where I would view my organization chart. Where I went to the organization supervisory organization. Let me just go back in time as well. Today, you are going to be viewing the profile of Carol Lee. All of this information, please go through them. Whatever information you want, just do whatever you want to do. Not an issue at all, but don't make any changes. Only go to view mode for now. That is number 1. Number 2, the supervisory organization is the organization where Carol Lee is working, which is Consulting Technology, Consulting NA. Click on that once. Once you click on this, the supervisory organization is going to open and you can view all the peers of Carol Lee over here. Next, come to related actions, which is the 3 dots which you see right next to Technology Consulting, NINE. Click on that. The other options, you just leave it. Only check the organization chart. Very simple. Alright. See here you can see Amit Patel, Carol Lee, Jocelyn and Joe. All of them are reporting to their managers, which is Betty Louie and Jamie Stone. They are the managers. And if you want to scroll up, you can scroll up. You can keep scrolling up all the way to the CEO. Alright. They are going to be reporting to Betty Louie and then Darrell. And who is in turn going to be reporting to 2 other managers, Max Lynn. And then it goes all the way top to the executive manager group and to the top level, which is Betty Louie, who is the global head of our organization over here. Clear on this? We've seen very high level and simple stuff for the day. Thank you. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.